All right. Hello and welcome. My name is Katya Gaynor. I also go by Katya Lovejoy. I have an MSW, and for the last 10 years, I've been exploring the intersection of spirituality and therapy through working with altered states of consciousness as a clinical hypnotherapist and meditation teacher, focusing primarily on Yoga Nidra meditation, which is what our presentation is about today. So this presentation is going to explore the concepts of non-duality and transpersonal psychology through the lens of Yoga Nidra as a way of coming into right relationship with self, with the world, and sustainable service to others. So while I will be giving some background information at the beginning, the bulk of our time together is going to be a guidance through a full Yoga Nidra practice in order to experience this as a tool for transformation. Now, I know that most people that are watching this will be doing so on recording. So welcome, everyone. The learning objectives for this time together is really to explore and understand how this perspective of non-duality can be helpful to both our clients and to ourselves as practitioners in adapting to the climate crisis and the subsequent mental health issues that are coming from that. To learn how Nidra meditation can benefit clients as well as clinicians, physiologically, psychologically, and spiritually. And then, of course, to experience this practice for deep rest and reconnection to wholeness. So you may have noticed if you're in the field as a social worker or maybe even in research that clients and others are increasingly presenting with climate-related anxiety and depression and are increasingly in need of support and tools to find acceptance of our current situation and orient towards hope. The time has already passed for preventing climate catastrophe. And our task now is to promote a healthy adaptation to the new challenges that we're facing. And this type of adaptation requires a real paradigm shift from thinking of humans as separate from the earth to a recognition of the fundamental non-duality between humans and nature. And non-duality is essentially the understanding that while things may appear different, they are not separate. And as psychologist John Davis writes, the failure to experience and act from this non-duality creates suffering for both humans and the environment. A non-dual and transpersonal understanding of the self is fundamental for this kind of perspective shift. Now, transpersonal is meaning a consciousness that extends beyond the limits of the individual self. Much of traditional psychology and counseling focuses on the individualized concept of self, self-esteem, self-identity, self-mastery, self-care. There's, of course, a place for all of this, but there must also be a wider understanding of the self as part of a larger whole and the different aspects of self that make up this whole that are beyond just the individual identity. Not doing so fundamentally disconnects us from the web of life. And this expanded experience of consciousness and connectedness is not limited to humans. Extended cognition researchers at MIT have found that a spider's cognition does not just exist inside its brain or its body, it actually extends out to the spider's web. The web threads and configurations are integral parts of the cognitive systems. So if the web is damaged, the spider experiences that viscerally, and there's this direct connection and reciprocity with the environment. So interestingly, when it comes to the topic of Nidra meditation, spiders are an apt metaphor that we can use because in some indigenous cultures, the spider is known as a spirit animal of weaving dreams into reality. And the word Nidra in Sanskrit means sleep. This is a meditation of active dreaming process that reconnects us to the wholeness of life. So the non-dual, this concept of non-duality, the transpersonal understanding of self, this is at the core of spirituality. In the field of eco-psychology, these experiences are often facilitated in nature, or rather, experiences are facilitated in nature in order to connect to these states of consciousness. And this shift in consciousness, it's not a cognitive event, but like the spider whose consciousness is in its brain body and extends outwards, this shift must be experienced as a direct perceptual event through the different layers of our being, rather than just a cognitive event. So in order to help our clients to achieve this kind of shift, we must have tools to facilitate an experience rather than simply a discussion. It's important that we have the ability to guide such experiences in the office rather than not having to go out into nature, although if we can, that's of course certainly powerful. But yoga nidra meditation is a therapeutic tool that can be used anywhere to facilitate this kind of perceptual shift in understanding of the self as connected to a greater whole and a wider web. So yoga nidra is a guided meditation practice that originates from the Hindu tantric tradition. Tantra is a vast set of tools that are used for accessing non-dual states in order to achieve spiritual understanding and healing. Yoga Nidra is a systematic and scientific process of moving through the different layers of consciousness to find a sense of freedom from a limited view of self and to orient to that transpersonal state of wholeness and connection. And the way it achieves this is by guiding awareness through the different layers of a person's being, from the grossest to the most subtle, meaning the meditation moves awareness through the physical body, that the dense field of the physical body, in through the more subtle fields of the mind and energy body, and to the most subtle aspects of the self that are in closer contact with that universal, unified field of consciousness. The guidance facilitates a pathway from the individual identity moving through the experience of duality in order to gain a greater awareness of it as an illusion, and moving further out into that non-dual awareness and oneness with life itself. So this practice has been found to have various levels of benefit for the person who is being guided. Physiologically, it helps to regulate the nervous system and release stress tension in the body. Psychologically, it can support clients to hold complex emotions without reactivity. Neurologically, it slows the brain waves down to theta and delta frequency, which offers a deep physiological rest for a burnt out system. And spiritually, Yoga Nidra offers a pathway to peace, love, joy, inspiration, and this greater sense of wholeness and connection to all of life. In many environments, Yoga Nidra, environments like yoga studios or corporate wellness spaces, Yoga Nidra is used simply as a rest practice, and it is that fundamentally. But as renowned Yoga Nidra teacher Kamini Desai says, using Yoga Nidra as a nap is like using a jet plane to drive to the grocery store. It will get you there, but it's meant to help you soar. So there's much more potential with the practice of Yoga Nidra than just for rest. It can facilitate emotional healing, trauma resolution, insight building, and this contact with a deeper sense of spirituality. So not only is this an effective tool that we can offer our clients and communities, but I find that it's an essential practice for practitioners themselves, for social workers. It can really benefit us social workers. Now, the topic of self-care is overwrought in our industry, but every year, more and more of us are getting burnt out, which of course creates serious health repercussions, not only for ourselves, but it negatively impacts our clients and community outcomes. So in order to really find that sustainability, we need to also include ourselves in our service. Too often we are depleting and exploiting our own energy, which is just a mirror for what is happening on the earth. So in order to truly support sustainability, we have to remember ourselves as an essential part of this web of life and commit to creating sustainability in our lives and practices. So learning, practicing, and facilitating Nidra meditation is a way that we can come into right relationship with ourselves, with the world, and with sustainable service to our communities. So in the vein of this needing to be more than just a discussion, more than just a cognitive shift, it needs to be a truly a perceptual shift through an experience. I have dedicated the rest of this presentation to guiding this experience. There's a quote that I don't remember where it comes from. I think I saw it on a TV show. It says, knowledge is just a myth until it lives in the body. So we can talk about the benefits of yoga nidra and the theoretical underpinnings and the connection with eco-psychology and sustainability all we want, but until we actually have this experience inside of our system, it's not actually sustainable. So I'd like to shift now from this cognitive conscious lecturing part of the presentation into the guided experience. So at this point, you can feel free to orient away from the computer. Yoga Nidra is traditionally practiced laying down. It can be practiced in non-traditional ways. You can practice it seated. In whatever position works well for you, but I do recommend that if you're seated, that you're not seated like I am, that if you are choosing to be seated, that you go up against the wall. And if you're laying down, that you have full space for your body to be comfortable. One of the differences between Nidra meditation and maybe we could consider it more traditional forms of meditation like Vipassana, insight meditation, breath focused meditation, where we're seated upright. The difference with being fully supported in a reclined position in Yoga Nidra means that we can relax certain core muscles in the body that we need to be active in order to hold us upright if we're seated. That relaxation, the ability to fully release all the muscular tension in the body, allows us to move our consciousness further beyond the body, to disidentify more fully from the individual body. And that facilitates the expansion of consciousness. So all of that being said, that should have given you enough time, I hope, to find your supported position. And we're welcoming someone else into the live room. Welcome. We're getting ready to practice Yoga Nidra. So we will all be finding a reclined position, ideally laying down, but can also be seated as long as all parts of your body are supported. Now take a moment to scan your body in whatever position you've chosen, and just notice if you could be 5 or 10% more comfortable. Making any adjustments and also taking the opportunity to support your body as much as you need here. If you're at home and have access to pillows, blankets, you might want to take a pillow under the head or under the knees. You might cover yourself with something. Often we are going so fast, especially in a conference environment. We want to see this presentation and this presentation. And even if we're not there in person, we're and sometimes be go, go, go and feeling scattered. And so we're intentionally slowing down here. We're intentionally creating a lot of spaciousness so that you can find that support for your body. Now, as you find fully this reclined position, I want to invite you to begin to take some deep breaths. Inhale through the nose and expand through the belly. Feel that inhale expanding through the belly, the ribs, and the chest, and hold at the top of the breath. Then exhale and release the tension from your body. Allow your next natural exhale to release a little more. Now taking a second intentional, full, complete breath here, as if you're filling a vessel of water, inhaling fully into the body and holding at the top of the breath. Exhale, feel a wave of relaxation from the head down to the toes. Your next exhale taking you a little deeper. And then one final full intentional breath here, perhaps the biggest breath you've taken yet today. Pausing at the top and exhaling, feeling all the tension draining out of your body. Allow your breath to find a natural rhythm now. And become aware of the body lying here. Feeling the body from the inside. Noticing its shape, weight, and position. Sensing how the entire body is supported by the bed, the chair, the floor. And even deeper than that, the entire earth supports you here. Noticing that gentle hug of gravity, as if the earth is calling you home. Notice if you can surrender a little more into that support. Offer a little more of yourself into the embrace of the earth. Now, bring your awareness to your sense of hearing and begin to notice the sounds in the space around you. Simply allowing the mind to move from sound to sound without holding on or analyzing any of the sounds. Notice how each sound arises and then merges back into silence. The sounds simply arising and drifting away. Now become aware of the sounds inside your body. The sound of the inhale. The sound of the exhale. The sound of the voice inside your head whispering your thoughts. Now become aware of the space between and underneath the sounds. The space in between and underneath the thoughts. The silence and stillness that lies just underneath. Allow the mind to merge back into this silence. Now bring your attention to your heart center. Bring to heart something that you're grateful for. And perhaps you notice the felt sensation of how the heart responds to gratitude. Perhaps there's a sense of opening or blossoming. And connecting to this heart space, ask your heart, what is my deepest desire? What is my most heartfelt prayer for myself or the world? And from this place, allow an intention or a sankalpa to form into a short phrase using positive language in the present tense, like an affirmation. Allowing this intention to crystallize into form. Perhaps it sounds something like, I am at peace with myself and the world around me. I am connected to all of life. I give and receive in reciprocity. I live with a compassionate heart. Or whatever your heart's truth is telling you, let that form into an intention. And as that intention becomes clear to you, repeat it 3 times in your mind. Now give thanks and let it go, as if it's being blown on the wind. Trust that your highest self and your spiritual connection have received and understood this intention. There is nothing that you need to do now. Allow yourself to shift from doing to being. Release any struggle, any need to do or control, and give yourself over to rest. So relaxed, you are held in absolute stillness. Let yourself shift from thinking to feeling, from doing to being. There is nothing you need to do. There is nothing to run from or towards. You have already arrived. Let go of the day. It doesn't need you anymore. Allow yourself to rest fully in this space. Fully shifting from doing to being. In just a moment, I will begin to guide attention through the body. As I name each body part, simply feel it from the inside. This creates a circuit of energy in the brain that not only relaxes the body, but also the brain. Like an internal acupuncture, opening the channels of energy, bringing healing and relaxation to the entire body. If you lose track of my voice, just come back whenever you remember. Bring your attention to your jaw, the hinges of the jaw. feeling the teeth, gums, roof of the mouth, floor of the mouth, tongue, lips, feeling the whole mouth as sensation. No thinking, just feeling. Feeling the nose, right nostril, left nostril, tip of the nostrils, right cheek, left cheek, right ear, left ear, both ears together receiving sound. Right eyelid, eyeball, temple, and right eyebrow. Feel the whole space of the right eye. Left eyelid, eyeball, temple, left eyebrow, the whole space of the left eye. Feel both eyes together, relaxing back into the eye sockets. Feeling forehead, top of head, back of head, back of neck, front of the throat. Feel the whole head, face, and neck together. Right shoulder, upper arm, elbow, forearm, wrist, back of right hand, palm, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, the whole right hand, arm, and shoulder together. Left shoulder, upper arm, elbow, forearm, wrist, back of left hand, palm, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, the whole left hand, arm, and shoulder together. Both arms together. Chest, rib cage, solar plexus, navel, low belly, upper back, mid back, low back, sacrum, spine, the whole torso front and back together, like one radiant field of sensation. Pelvis, right hip, right thigh, knee, lower leg, ankle, heel, sole of the right foot, top of the foot, all the right toes, the whole right foot, leg, and hip together. Left hip, left thigh, knee, lower leg, ankle, heel, left sole, top of the foot, all the left toes, the whole left foot, leg, and hip together. Both legs together. Both arms together. The whole torso. The whole head. Now feel the whole body together, the whole body as one shimmering field of sensation. The whole body, feeling inside the body, outside the body, the boundary between. The whole body resting in a vast and spacious awareness. Notice the breath as it moves through this body. The breath breathing itself. Life breathing herself. Keeping your attention on the breath, begin to count backwards 11 breaths down to 1. One inhale and one exhale count together as one breath. If you lose track of the count, just come back to 11. Begin again whenever you remember. With every descending number, as if you're peeling off a layer, as if you're dropping down a level, all the way down to 1. Let go of the count wherever you are. Remind yourself, I am awake and aware in Yoga Nidra. Become aware of the body, noticing any sensations present. Perhaps there is a sensation of warmth or heaviness. Simply witness and welcome whatever's present as sensation, fully embracing this sensation in the body, allowing. Now invite in the opposite sensation. So if you noticed warmth, invite in a feeling of coolness. If you noticed heaviness, welcome in the sensation of lightness. Fully welcome in and allow this opposite physical sensation. Perhaps it exists in a different part of the body. Simply witness and welcome. Now, at your own pace, begin to move between these two opposite sensations. First, bringing one up fully, and then inviting in the opposite, back and forth. Now, hold both sensations together and feel them dissolve. Now bring attention to an emotion that's present, or perhaps an emotion you've been working with lately. As you welcome in this emotion, simply witness and allow it. Notice where in the body this emotion lives. Perhaps there's an image or a memory connected to it. Just witness and welcome with a curiosity. And now welcome in the opposite emotion. What is the opposite to this emotion? And as you invite in this opposite, perhaps it lives in a different part of the body, or there's a different sensation. Perhaps there's an image or memory. Simply welcoming in this opposite emotion. And at your own pace, begin to move between these two opposite emotions. And as you rest on one opposite now, notice if there is a thought that is connected to this emotion. And as you move to the opposite emotion, notice what the opposite thought is. And again, at your own pace, moving between these opposites. And now hold all opposites together. All opposites held in harmony and balance. And recognize that you are neither of these opposites. You are not sensation, nor thought, nor emotion. You are the awareness in which all things arise and shift. Let yourself rest in this pure awareness. Now bring your attention to the screen of the mind. Like a movie screen, this is where things from the subconscious and unconscious are projected. Perhaps you notice something there now. Images, colors, symbols. There's no need to create anything at all. Simply witness with a curiosity. In just a moment, I'll begin to guide different visualizations. Simply notice whatever arises on the screen of the mind. There is no need to create or figure anything out. Simply follow along with me. Visualize the sun rising over mountaintops. White sandy beach, footprints in the sand. River rushing over rocks. The sound of an alarm clock. Water glistening on a spider web. White puffy clouds floating across the sky. Person standing at a podium. Calm, still lake, full moon shining down. Your inner child. Sunflower opening to the sun. Sun setting over the ocean. The sound of a child laughing. A rainbow coming out after a storm. A meadow of tall grass blowing gently in a warm breeze. The night sky. Imagine that you're lying here gazing up at this nice night sky. You can see all the stars blanketing this darkness. Noticing perhaps any symbols or constellations that you can see. Some stars shine very brightly. Others twinkle further in the distance. Feel your awareness begin to rise up towards this night sky. Feel your consciousness getting higher and higher as you rise up, moving up through the layers of sky, further and further into the night, higher and higher, until you find yourself surrounded by stars, resting in the center of space. Stars all around you. Some twinkle brightly. Others flicker in the distance. You are floating among stars. Now become aware of the space between and behind the stars. That velvety darkness. Allow your consciousness to expand and merge into this oneness. Feeling the freedom of this spaciousness. Expanded and connected. And as you rest here, connected with the fabric of the universe, feel yourself as time transcendent presence. Hand over all fears and anxiety about all you wish to change, control, and manage. Let go of all doing and replace it with trust and faith. Notice that in this space, nothing is lacking. All that was never lost is returning to you now. Allow the universal energy of life itself to nourish you. The whole body surrounded and permeated by light. All boundaries and illusion of separateness dissolving, merging back into oneness. You are unburdened and free. Completely at peace with yourself, life, and the universe around you. Feel your whole being filled and surrounded with radiance. Resting in the radiant fullness of time transcendent presence. Feeling the deep wholeness and completeness of this space. Merging back into oneness. In this place, all your intentions and affirmations are fulfilled with effortless ease. Remember your sankalpa, your intention now. Allow it to merge into the fabric of the universe, and into the deepest levels of recognition within you. As you feel yourself radiating this universal energy, as you rest in the center of the universe, gaze back down to Earth. See that tiny blue and green globe, so insignificant and yet so significant. Allow waves of love from your being to wash down upon the earth. Compassion, understanding, connection radiating from your being in waves pouring down upon the earth. You remember why you've come to earth. You remember why you are needed. You are a part of the non-separate wholeness of life itself, radiating love and compassion. You are an emissary of light, love, and wholeness. Feel it. Be it. Spread it wherever you go and to whomever you meet. This is what you've come for. And now it's time to come back to Earth. And so feel your consciousness begin to travel back down through the layers of stars, back down towards the planet Earth. And you can see it getting larger and larger the closer you get. You can begin to see the shapes of the continents, getting closer and closer, seeing your continent, getting closer and closer until you have a bird's eye view of the city you're in, moving all the way down into the room that your body is resting in. See your body resting here, its wholeness and completeness. Now visualize a silvery cord rising from your navel up to where your awareness is gazing down so lovingly at you. As you take a deep breath in, feel your consciousness slide back down that cord, stepping back into your body, stepping into your feet, your legs, torso, arms, and head. Continuing to take deep, nourishing breaths as you call all of your energy back into your body and into your room. Inviting in small, gentle movements, rubbing the thumb over each fingertip as you reawaken the 5 elements in the body: earth, water, fire, air, and space. Wiggling the fingers and the toes, making circles with the wrists and the ankles, and stretching the arms overhead, perhaps maybe reaching arms and legs in opposite directions, reaching one side long and then the other. And even as you move back into this world of doing, carrying forward the sense of being that you are, that non-separate wholeness of life itself, even as you come back fully into this individual body. Hugging the knees into the chest, maybe rocking from side to side. Eventually, if you're laying down, you can roll over onto one side. If you're seated, you can find a position that feels good. In just a moment, we're going to come back into upright and do a little regrounding. So, in your own timing, find your way back to a seated position. Eyes can stay closed, or at least with a heavy gaze. And wherever you find yourself, whether it's on a bed or the floor or in a chair, notice that contact that your bottom or your feet are making with the surface beneath you. Feel the spine lengthen and the heart open. And then take the hands together and we'll keep a little space between the palms, as if they're coming into like a prayer position, but we'll keep a little space between the hands. And you might notice in that space, there's an energy. You might feel like warmth or electricity. And as you slowly draw the hands apart from one another, you might notice like a pulling sensation on the palms. And as you draw the hands back towards each other, like a puffiness or a magnetism. And just taking a few moments here to play around with, explore this energy. This is your creative power and potential channeled from that oneness, that universal energy. And when you take the time to cleanse your consciousness, you have more and more access to this. And we're going to use this energy to offer some loving self-touch to fully reground into the body. So taking the hands on top of the head and feel that warmth from the hands going down into the brain. Imagine it flowing down the spinal cord and extending as a root into the earth. Now you might even want to massage your head here. That feels good. Connecting back to the physical body. You can take your hands over your eyes, feeling that energy, that warmth bathing the eyes and the brain. And sliding the hands down the face, maybe massaging through the jaw. One hand over the other on the throat center, our communication center. And letting that space receive this healing energy. May we speak our truth clearly and confidently. Drawing the hands down over the heart space, maybe making some circles here or just pressure. I'm just feeling that openness in the heart, that radiance, that loving for no reason, simply because you are love. Hands can come down over the belly here, maybe making circles around the belly. This is often a place we can shy away from. We might be kind of harsh to, so just offering gratitude for this wonderful belly that helps digest our experiences. Then you're going to begin to massage the legs from hips to knees. You can even use the heel of your hand to draw the energy from the hips to the knees, circling the knees. And then you might need to adjust your seat here so that you can squeeze down the calves, really pressing that line of energy with the thumb all the way down, holding onto the ankles and rubbing the bottoms of the feet. And as that regrounding feels complete, I invite you to either take your hands together or over the heart center, just taking a moment for gratitude for this practice of Nidra meditation that has been passed down from teacher to student, all the way to us today. Gratitude for this space that we get to practice, whether that's in person or through the virtual platform of this conference. All the nuggets of insight and inspiration to be received here. Gratitude for yourself for showing up for yourself and your community today. May all of the goodness that you reached in this experience be with you every moment of your day. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you. So I know that we had a few people come in after we started the Yoga Nidra meditation, and I apologize for not catching you as you came in. I was already in that space. And I imagine that many people are watching this on recording, on replay, but I do have a little bit of time here to answer any questions that you might have. I do offer teacher trainings in Yoga Nidra. I'll be offering my 6th one virtually in the fall. So this is a practice I've taught many clinicians of all varieties, social workers, medical doctors, doulas, death doulas, because it's a very profound practice for healing, for transformation. And if you didn't hear the beginning of my presentation, I shared about how this can be a practice to be used with our clients to deal with climate anxiety, to reconnect us to the web of life through this transpersonal understanding of self, as a way to help us really be more sustainable in our service to others and also in our own practices. So feel free, if you have any questions, you can unmute or you can just put it in the chat. Holly, I see your message. Thank you so much. If you're interested in learning more about training in Yoga Nidra and being able to offer it with your clients and communities, just send me an email. My email is katyalovejoy@gmail.com. It's KATYALOVEJOY @gmail.com. My website's katyalovejoy.com. Yay, I'm so glad you found that relaxing, Jaspreet. Yeah, beyond Yoga Nidra being a tool for liberation, spirituality, it's also really restful and helps a lot with burnout, which, as we know, is very important. I'm also aware that in the space of Yoga Nidra, time and language doesn't really exist the way that we are used to it existing in waking awareness. So you may not be feeling interested to talk or type, but please know that I'm available for questions. After, you can just email me again. I always say anybody that I guide in Yoga Nidra is, I'm there for you for life now, with boundaries, of course. But yes, I'll say my email again. Feel free if you have any questions. It's Katya, Katya, Lovejoy, Lovejoy @gmail.com. All right, I don't want to take up too much more time. This is recorded, so hopefully it will be on the conference website and you can revisit it. Thank you all so much for showing up live. Thank you everyone who's watching on the replay, and just everybody who's at this conference committed to making our field better, more inclusive, more expansive, and in doing so, really helping all of our communities. Thank you so, so much, everyone, and may you have a wonderful evening.